Yeah, we're good. We're live.
Live, all right. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to spring finally, huh? It's kind of nice to see that, see the people out playing softball and baseball, which is great, right? So, and tennis is already out there. So it's great to have all the sports. Lacrosse is out there too. I saw lacrosse right there. Everyone's out.
Everybody's out.
Playing, which is great. So I'm going to call the meeting to order today. First of all, we have to do a roll call. So people who are on Zoom, can I ask you to go first?
Nick
Nick?
Pesatoro.
Alicia Williams.
Okay, try it again, please.
Nick Pesatoro.
Alicia Williams.
All right.
Kate Kaminer. Eric Gaffin.
Laura Noonan.
Nancy Zimlat.
Melissa Pucci.
Bob Wyden.
Rich Hand. You want to introduce yourself too?
Jim Sullivan, Recreation Administrator.
Shambo.
All right. So first, agenda item here is public comment. If anybody on the committee or in the public?
And online.
All right, so public comment. We have two amplified sound requests. You read the first ones here. The first one is from the Reading Public Schools. It's on Saturday, May 2nd. This is teaching genocide. It's part of a grant in town. It's going to be held in the town common. The time is from 10 to 12. That's the first one. And
I'll make a motion to approve the sound permit as stated.
And then I know we got some new members here too. So the way this works, we get an amplified use permit request after they fill out a civic function permit, which has different tiers that go through different town departments. So these are all approved. This is like the final step for them to get the sign off from the town manager's office. So we're not the only ones saying you guys can do this as a process. So we get this at the end.
I'll second it.
any discussion?
Pretty straightforward.
All in favor? Okay,
We have to roll.
Yeah, yeah.
Member of those, they're associate members. So
Associate.
you can just go right here.
Okay. Kate, yes.
Eric, yes.
Laura, yes.
I'm not a.
Oh,
Yep.
Melissa, yes.
Bob, yes.
Rich Hand, yes. So that one's approved. The second one is event, a Pride event. It's going to be held on Saturday, June the 6th at the Common. It's from 3 to 5. Yeah, that's it there. And they're going to have a DJ and a speaker.
Motion to approve the amplified sound requests as stated.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
What was the specific request? Just like a speaker?
Yeah, it's a a DJ and speaker.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's for their pride celebration event.
yep.
Kate,
Okay.
yes.
Eric, yes.
Laura, yes. Melissa, yes.
Bob, yes.
Rich Hand, yes. So that is approved. Great, thank you. All right, the next agenda item to start off here is kind of on public comment and procedure. And this is really a discussion for us to, I'm gonna say like write a policy. We never really had a policy for public comment. So I wanted to get the team's feedback in terms of structure, time limits, if we should have a time limit, when we should have it. Should we have it in the beginning or at the end or after each agenda item? So it's really about discussion in terms of feedback, how we can craft the language for that policy and then bring it back to the group to work on it, see if the language is correct. And I asked Jim to kind of do some work in terms of what other committees do in terms of public comment. So Jim, if you could please update the team in terms of.
So the way it works is it's up to the chair. I think your tenure is up in July and then
That's
we
right.
reseat and revote and whatever that is, it's your decision. So I think having this discussion now is great. We spoke with the town clerk yesterday, myself and Rich. And she said we should absolutely have a policy if we're gonna, stick to it. So something that we all agree upon, come up with some language and then vote on it and approve it as whoever the chair is. So I think you have 2 more months left.
Right.
So I mean, in my opinion, it probably makes sense to try to develop something that everyone agrees upon, and then whoever becomes the chair, we install it at that first meeting. So I reached out to conservation, community development, and I know the select board does it. All 3 of those groups, they allow it after each agenda item. The select board might be changing. I know they just have a new chair, Melissa Murphy. I don't know if they will be changing it, but it's up to the chair what they want to do. So I'm here to listen. I really have no input in what you guys want to do. So
I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm trying to understand the logic to have an open comment section after each agenda item. Is that to, I mean, can't people participate anyway in the agenda items or no?
no.
I mean, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
public comment and when speaking with the clerk too, it doesn't even need to be allowed. So it's more of a privilege. So we can choose not to do public comment. We can choose to do it at the beginning of the meeting, which is kind of what we've done, except on some hot topics here and there. We've moved when there was pickleball. I know it was a hot topic a few years back. We can do it at the end. The benefits of doing it after each agenda item, someone may be hearing something they didn't know, and it gives them an opportunity to weigh in on what was said after there's been a discussion through the group. If you do it in the beginning, you may not know what the committee is thinking or saying, so you may say something and they say something completely different. And then you're like, oh, like, can you jump in and comment after that? So what's better? Do meetings flow with it at the beginning? I don't know. Again, it's up to you guys.
I have some thoughts. So my first thought is if we have it at the beginning, then somebody who's coming just for public comment, they can like say their piece and then get back to whatever their busy nights are, like if they have kids or if, you know, they got to put the kids to bed. So sometimes if you have it at the end, then they're like, oh my God, I have to wait like the whole, you know, I know our meetings aren't terribly long, but
Right.
they have to wait the whole time. So if you do it in the beginning, then they get to say their piece and then they get to go. And my other thought is if you have it at the end of each agenda item, then you're kind of inviting the public to be a part of your conversation. And I feel like they're not supposed to be. It's supposed to be like separate so they can come and say their piece and it's separate from the board's discussion, but those are just my thoughts.
I agree with Laura that I like to have it in the beginning here. If someone wants to come for something specific, a non-agenda item. And yeah, the practicality of, I hate to have people sit all night or try and guess when we're gonna have it available. You know, what time it's going to be if we have it at the end. And then I think historically, we kind of allow public to comment on our, I mean,
Yeah.
when we've had people
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
after we've gone through our business, I think the chair, just as a courtesy, always says, would anyone else like to,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I did for the couple of years
Yeah.
that I was doing it. And I do think I 100% agree with you that if we're gonna have a standing item, it should be at the beginning. I think that makes sense. And I think that if we do end up writing a policy, that it gives the chair kind of like broad discretion for specific topics to say, we will welcome public comment on this. Like, so like, we're unlikely to do that for like amplified sound permits, right?
Mhm.
Those are very straightforward,
Yeah.
it's town business, whatever. But in the past, like with pickleball, it always comes up as a perfect example. There's a huge amount of interest in people attending the meetings, and it made sense to have that conversation happening, right? We can have our say, we can have discussion, and we open it up to the public comment for them to make comments. And we don't even have to directly respond to it. That's not necessarily our role. We can choose to if we want to, because maybe it's a relevant point. But point of public comment, I think it's good that we give the chair the discretion to allow more after each particular topic, and not necessarily just writing it in. Because then, to your point, I think it could bog down topics.
Yeah.
But we're also, there's nobody here tonight. You know,
Right.
it's like I don't think it happens so often So letting whoever the chair is have that discretion makes sense. So however
Yeah.
that needs to be
I
written.
think it should be more procedures instead of a policy.
Yeah.
And I would give the chair real wide berth to, because like someone might come and it's a smaller issue, if you will. But we don't want that, do we want to have a, PowerPoint presentation for an hour and a half? Or, so the chair can kind of say, we're going to give you 10 minutes tonight, or can you do it within 10 minutes?
Right.
I mean, they did it at town meeting last night. The moderator asked approximately how long is your presentation, so
Okay,
to try, so I would give the chair, like I
some
said.
discretion in terms
Yeah,
of
I would-
flexibility.
Yeah,
I do think, you talked about maybe, you don't want to get bogged down, and then you mentioned time limit. I do think we should have a time limit, so we don't run into a situation like we have recently.
Mhm.
With the public comment last week, one person went on for, it was 12 minutes. And I just think that if we had a policy, that we had a time that we all agreed on was reasonable,
Mhm.
because I feel that 12 minutes is too long. I don't know what other people think. So if we had a time that we were like, oh, you can speak, but you could speak for 2-3 minutes, whatever we
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the standard is maximum of 10. I mean, if
At town meeting.
Good. Yeah, but I mean, I mean, you can limit it to 5 in these meetings.
Mhm.
But
It seems like Alicia, the select board does 2 minutes, is that right now?
Yeah, they do too.
There's 2 minutes there, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's the other question, do we set some sort of parameters around time, or is it based on topic? Or,
I mean, you could pick a number and then going back again to chairman's discretion. Okay, this is a meeting discussion and needs
if 24 people show up to a hot topic,
Right.
then,
Yeah.
hey, for tonight, because of the large volume of people, we're going to exercise our ability to limit comment to 2 minutes. On a normal night, it's 5, right?
Yeah.
If there's 2 people here, take 5 minutes. It's fine.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you put that in the policies too, and I think at the beginning of each meeting, you've got to make sure we
state
reiterate
it.
what these are.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep. So,
You also don't know what topics are gonna be coming up,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of unknowns right now, so I think given that you have the flexibility of,
I agree.
you want 5, you want 10, and I do think another thing we should consider is whatever the public comment is, has to stay on topic. I think that,
Mhm.
And, try and limit people, if there's a group, speak once and be done, instead of one person having 3 and 4 times of rebuttal and,
What do you mean, like, one?
If there's 5 people coming to speak on one topic
Is that like-
and they're multiple times.
redundancy.
Yeah, ideally, they're covering something new each.
Yeah.
But they might not have come together.
Yes, no,
So
Right, but oftentimes,
You would have
sometimes you
to-
get the,
kind of let them.
the back and forth too, you
This-
want to avoid the back and forth.
Yeah.
You'll have 2 different sides and we don't need one
Yeah.
person saying this and then they want to
Right.
rebuttal and then they're going back.
right, and
forth.
everything
So-
speaks through the chair, recognized through the
Mhm,
chair.
mhm.
We're talking about public comment procedures,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you caught up on pretty quick. And then I don't want to forget that we do have Nick and Alicia online too.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to jump in, just raise your hand and I can let Rich know. I can see it on my screen.
What else should we be thinking about?
With public comment?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what I can say too is I
Go ahead.
know a lot of this is new for folks too, so if you have questions on open meeting laws and stuff, I know you do get a packet when you join these boards, but if you need refreshers or anything like that, I'm constantly trying to up my game by watching meetings. That's where I learn a lot of this stuff, just by watching a select board meeting or watching town meetings. So if anyone wants a little bit more training in this, or what we can or can't do, I can connect you with the town clerk, and I'm sure there's some trainings out there
Yeah.
that I don't know everything. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I don't think anyone here is gonna say they know everything about open meeting.
Yeah.
So if you have any interest in that, let me know and I can connect you guys.
never reply to all.
Did learn that, was that a few years ago? Yeah, I think that was my fault. That was my fault.
Blind copy.
BCC, blind copy, correct.
So just, what I heard is, start of the meeting makes most sense, right? Unless we want, depending on the topic, right? The chair would have some sort of discretion.
Yeah,
right?
at the start of the meeting is good because there's public comment of issues that aren't on our agenda. Like there could be an issue going on that we have no idea. That gives an opportunity for someone
That's-
from the public to come in and say, hey, I have a concern about this. I've seen this happening. And then we don't have to comment on it right then. Sometimes it's best not to comment because you're in the moment. You may be like, I shouldn't have said that. So sometimes it's nice to sit, think about it, and then it's up to the chair. Maybe that's an agenda topic for the following.
Yep. And, you know, having the chair have the flexibility of discretion. I also like what Eric, you was saying in terms of, you know, if there's, you know, if it's, after an agenda item, if someone's here, you can say, someone has a comment on it, you know, it's like, you give them that flexibility to voice their opinion, I guess. And I think you're right. Time limits make sense depending on what the topic is, you know? And I think that's about it. So I think we'll have to get together, craft something that we can share with the group here. And then, as Jim was saying, it's going to take us probably 2 months to get to that point. And then we'll see what happens after that. You know, we all agree on what this new procedure will be for all of us.
Can people give public comment on our public comment procedure?
It's up to him today, right now. Like, yes.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just kind of being, you know,
Yeah.
kind of being.
I guess when we get to
making a
that,
joke.
I guess when we get to that point, right?
But it's a good
When
point.
we have to vote on it, right?
Yes.
Right? So it'll probably have to be that. Anybody want? Except, you know, you came in late, anything?
No,
Nick,
Yeah,
Nick, anything on public comment?
no, I think that sounds great. I think it's a great idea.
Alicia,
she's still driving around.
might be on mute. You came off and then you're back on.
There we go. No, I'm all set. I think everyone hit all the topics.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you.
Great. All right. All right, next, project update. Jimmy, you gonna
That's
give this
me. I'm gonna-
recal and
I'm gonna
pickleball,
start,
and
yeah,
Birch Meadow?
Recal and pickleball. Probably gonna flow right into my rec administrator report. I thought it was gonna be quick, but I got a page and a half and there might be some questions, so. We'll see how long it takes. Quick update on pickleball and recal. We had our groundbreaking ceremonies, about a week and a half ago. It was at 10 in the morning. Rich was there. He actually got up and he spoke, which was great. He spoke very well. He did a great job. There was state delegates there. The COA was there. Karen Janowski spoke on behalf of them. Jenna spoke on behalf of the community service department. There was probably close to 60 people there. We all got a shovel. We all took our little stage photos with a nice pile of play sand in front of us and got some nice photos. So there's a bunch of stuff online if you want to take a look at that. Has anyone been down to the site since we started? Has anyone driven down there?
Mhm.
All the trees are gone. Right now, what they're working on is setting up for all the drainage. They got the cul-de-sac system there, a lot of the gravel there. They're moving a lot of the excess dirt and concrete that they had there. There was a lot of scrap metal there, even a car there. So they're getting that all out, but it is flying. It looks like a completely different space in town right now. I was talking to Adam, like, do I want to do pictures tonight and stuff like that? I want to save it for a little bit more where we have progressions going on. I'm meeting with them every Tuesday. We have a team of town employees meeting all the construction crew out there, our design teams, the OPMs. We're meeting every Tuesday, getting project updates. That starts next Tuesday. So the project's going to go very quick, especially the pickleball courts. You can actually almost see where they're going to be placed right now with how they have the ground laid out, which is pretty amazing. Recal is moving in both. We have two different companies basically working on one site. So they're working hand in hand. Burbank Ice Arena has been great with them down there. I'm there every day, at least once or twice in the morning and then in the afternoon checking in. They got their work trailers there, so their little offices are set up in there. So they're getting ready to hit the ground running. But I would recommend if you were out on Havel Street, take a ride in there, check it out. If you get out of your car, don't go on the site. You need to have vests on, helmets on, all that stuff too. But you can simply drive over by the Burbank Arena and take a look. It's pretty amazing to see how much that land has already transformed and seeing where actually a building's gonna be, the parking lot's gonna be, the pickleball court's gonna be. It's pretty exciting. Speaking of that, last night at town meeting, the park grant did pass. I think it was about 120 to 30 in favor of the park grant being accepted. That happened last night. I'm meeting with our PPA, Reading Pickleball Players Association, on Thursday to start talking about some logistics, which is gonna include, the monetization of the course that was brought up at town meeting last year, the fee structures, how everything's gonna work, the booking, the reservations, open play versus non-open play hours, all that fun stuff. So we're starting that on Thursday. Jane Wellman and Jenna are gonna be sitting on that meeting. And Rich, if you wanna sit in on that meeting, it might be nice to have you there too,
Okay.
just so that you're in the loop. If you can't make it, no
Sure.
problem at all.
Jim, excuse me, were you at the meeting last night?
I couldn't go last night.
Okay.
It was the only night
So,
I did not go.
I just wanted to point out the big discussion on the pickleball thing was the resident, non-resident. So,
That's the
and
fee that we have to pay, which.
yeah, but by accepting the state grant, then that's out, we can't.
We have to, if we charge non-residents, we have to charge residents.
That's correct.
And the resident fee cannot be, so the non-resident fee cannot be 50% more than what we charge.
Correct.
So if it's $10 for residents to book a pickleball court, say, it can only be
Right.
$15.
So I think some of the no votes there were because they didn't want, they wanted control over not having non-residents play.
Correct.
I think the biggest concern was, it was less about the money and it was more about non-residents' access to reservations.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, ultimately, it's probably still going to be the residents booking a majority of it, but, we have to.
yeah, it's something.
It's something that you will probably need to be ahead of the curve in terms of tracking statistics and being able to share it back out to the community
Yep.
and say, hey, we've now done this for 2 months or 3 months, and what percentage of the bookings are coming from non-residents, what percentage are coming from residents.
Yep, yeah, so I have a general plan right now, what I think will work. I don't want to say it now and have people listening be like, oh my God, this is gonna happen, but there's gonna be a way that I will be able to track who is on that court and when they're on that court. And for a liability reason, it makes a lot of sense too. So having that all information because of the park grant is gonna be huge, so.
Right, okay, just wanted to.
Yep. As far as next update, any more questions about pickleball or recal? I know there was questions about the parking in that plot line that came up, and I think you had brought it up at the last meeting too. So it has to be with the park grant, it has to be on that parcel. So it is showing, I want to say it's probably maybe 12, 14 spots that are looking head on at the pickleball courts. There's going to be signage there that is going to direct folks that are playing pickleball over to the shared parking with Burbank to go over there. There'll be some folks that are coming there to use Recal Center sometimes, and they may have a program going on there, whether it's kids, adults, seniors, where they may park in the lot and then walk over there. That's one of those things, like if they're leaving Recal after a program to play pickleball, are we gonna make them move?
No.
So it's things like that it's gonna get a little tricky, but like I said, myself and Ed will be there, so we're gonna police it. It's gonna be a very active situation where we'll come up with the best plan and then we're gonna be like, what the heck were we thinking? And
We'll tweak it, yeah.
And we'll tweak it, like we've done with the tennis courts when they were full.
Yeah.
So
And as soon as they're built, it's gonna be,
it's gonna be
bull
packed.
rush and
Yeah.
then it'll all settle
Settle down,
down.
right.
Correct.
I do have a question, actually. Was there any thought or concerns that if non-residents start to kind of monopolize the courts, that could hinder their fundraising efforts?
Hinder who's fundraising?
Running our PPA, like they raised what, 220 something?
225,000.
And now, I mean, there was any thought put into that?
I will talk with Judy and see what their plans are for fundraising moving forward.
If I was involved in pickleball and I know, we raised all this money and, for Reading courts, for Reading residents to use. Now the possibility that the money that we raised to put towards these courts could be used by non-residents, I'd be pissed off.
I would argue, though, that some non-residents have contributed to
That
this.
could be absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, it'll die down. It's gonna be bumpy in the beginning and you're gonna hear all the, and there's some things you can't, I mean, unless, short of being down there and asking people for IDs every hour on the hour.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some policing down there and there'll be spot checking and, that's why charging fees is gonna help us because on Saturdays and Sundays, when it's probably gonna be pretty busy, we'll probably have one of our staff that will be down there. Whether we have some kind of membership that you need to sign up for, a key card, a pickleball pass, or there could be day passes that we're selling or
Right.
weekend passes, because, you can't just go a membership model because you're gonna have families coming and visiting, oh, your son came from Alabama and you want to play this
Right.
weekend, so there's gonna be options for folks.
That's the other, you have, family that don't live in Reading, so yeah, that's.
So there may be a day pass for it. It's $10 for a day pass. You gotta show that and bring it down there. Too. And when, like I said, in Winchester, we had clay courts where we charged a lot of money to use those clay courts and they had a membership. I think it was $250 for residents and it was $375 for non-residents, but you had the option of buying a $10 day pass to cover those little things. So I'm trying to think of everything, but like I said, I'm probably gonna miss some stuff. So once we start to finalize some of these procedures down there, I'd love to bring it in front of the board and have you guys overly break it down and give worst case, best case scenarios. So that will be coming. Birch Meadow Phase 2. We're getting close. The playground surfacing is in and I got to test it and feel it. I don't know if you've ever walked on it here. It is so much softer.
Yeah.
It almost feels a little bit like a trampoline. I think you had mentioned at the last meeting that you were in Florida and you stepped on it. I've never stepped on one before and I felt so light on my feet. So it's pretty amazing. They finished that up last week. What we're waiting for now is an impact test that has to be done after it's cured. So that is scheduled for Monday, May 4th, where a company comes out and certifies that it meets the standards of the fall rates for the different equipment that are out there. Crews are out there this week working on bringing in more loam, mulch, making sure the plantings, the trees are where they're supposed to be, benches are tightened up, all the caps are on, whether it's the basketball hoops, the barrels that are over there, and then the last thing they'll do is the hydro seeding before we can even think of turning it back over to town. The town has to go through their checklist, the engineers, everyone has to go to make sure that everything they said they were gonna do was done properly. It's everything from the pathways, the new curbing that's there, making sure the water is going where it's supposed to go. So I'm hopeful that we're just weeks away. I don't want to put a time on it, but the plan is to do some kind of ribbon cutting down there. And I want to combine that with phase 1 of Birch Meadow that kind of just got done and we moved on. So it'll be kind of a combo ribbon cutting. And me and Rich have already talked about a few little fun ideas we'd like to do down there when we do open up these spots. And I just want to mention too, some kids have it's bad, but I guess it's good. They're so excited that it's there that they're finding ways to get in there. I've had the fence checked 4 times in the last week and a half. I've notified.
To play basketball.
There's basketballs that are sitting inside hoops that have trash bags over them right now. But there's been kids on the playground equipment. I've notified the police department. They are doing extra spot checks down there. The neighbors are aware of it and I've asked that they either reach out to me or the easiest way is to reach out to the police because that site is still off limits, but they're excited and I get it. It's been a long time. The weather is beautiful. They see that park and they want to get out there and start playing. But if you haven't seen that, go down there and check it out. It's we've gotten so much good feedback on it from anyone who's been out there with kids and they love the look of it. They love the style of it and they just love that it's going to be connecting that entire area together. So we've gotten so much positive feedback throughout this project. Minus we wish it was done a little sooner, I get it, but we're trying to do it correctly and make sure everything is tightened up where it should be before it comes back over the town. What do we have? Field updates. This is going, I'm into my program administrator report right now too. I've just flown right into it as we've been going. But if you guys have questions, let me know. Field updates. As you know, we had a tough winter and spring. The fields are in great condition. Last year we had the issue with Morton Field. the high school varsity field, like being underwater for most of the season. I think they had 2 home games last year. They've already had, I think, 3 or 4 home games. So DPW has been out there making sure they're taking care of that field and turning it over, cutting it. And I've had the high school softball coach reach out to me. I've had the Reading Babe Ruth reach out to me. Little League's been doing a great job getting the fields ready too. They've put a lot of work into their fields. And I've had the high school varsity baseball coach reach out to me to pass along the gratitude and appreciation for what has been done to these fields in such a tough season. Very happy about that. I was very nervous this year about how that was going to go, and so far so good. Knock on wood. Next, the adaptive sports day I'm working on with Andover. We are getting close to having a locked-in schedule for this, so we're targeting June 13th right now. With this adaptive sports day, it would be run through Adaptive Sports New England. This is the group that ran the one in Andover last year. They had about 20 kids show up last year. I think we can get a lot more in Reading. I've got a lot of connections from other surrounding towns. It's going to be open to all to come. What we're going to do is sled hockey. So I reached out to Burbank Ice Arena. Sled hockey was pretty big this year in the Olympics. It's ice hockey, but on sleds. So they're going to bring out sleds so that folks can get out there and get on the ice. If they've never done it before, folks can try it. Anyone can go out there and try it. So Burbank Ice Arena gave us 2 hours on that Saturday from 12 to 2.
Nice.
Youth sports out on the field where we're going to have beep ball, which is baseball, but it's for those who are hearing impaired, where there's noises in the ball, there's noises in the faces. That will be out there. I think it's great for everyone to try that.
Is it for the vision impaired?
Vision impaired, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Vision impaired. And then adaptive soccer would be out there. My plan is to reach out to a lot of the groups in the high school and try to get some volunteers, the unified teams, any group that's close to here, the ARC of Massachusetts, which Ed's going to talk about. Then we met with them last month with Melissa, which was a great meeting. Thank you for putting us on that. A lot of good people in there.
You're welcome.
So I'm excited about that. Saturday, June 13th is the date. I'm just waiting on one more group to say it's a go, and then it will just be promote on that.
And you can use the baseball field?
Baseball field,
And
yeah.
that, right, it's on his way.
We're gonna
Oh,
use
perfect.
the baseball field, and then the outfield will be where the soccer will be happening. As far as the logistics, how it's gonna be happening, is it all gonna be happening from 12 to 2 and you kind of pick what you choose? I still gotta work on that when I speak with
Nice.
Adaptive Sports New England, but should be a fun event. And then I'm hoping to do like pizza and drinks after for everyone that's involved.
And what's the date on that?
So right now, tentatively scheduled for Saturday, June 13th. That's the only 2-hour slot right now that Burbank Ice Arena, and Ed said that we could probably get ice time, and that would be perfect.
Is that town day?
It is not. The town day is the 20th,
Okay.
the following week.
Oh, back to fields for a second.
Sure.
As far as what was going on at Joshua Eaton,
Joshua Eaton with the car driving.
the car driving, and I don't know if you heard the mounds are being dug up.
Yeah, so officer, I filed the
Really?
police, yeah, so they actually came in through the top of Joshua Eaton. This was probably right after our last, it was probably beginning of April.
Yeah.
Beginning of April.
Like down the hill?
They came down the hill, drove on
Really?
there, did a little loop on the grass field out in right field of field A, I think it is on the right side, and then did one more little loop over on the one on the left. So
Wow.
I reached out to Reading PD as soon as I found out and got wires of it. I checked it out myself, filed a police report, and Officer Batcher, who's the school resource officer
Wow.
at all the schools, he's on it right now. So he's got cameras. There's a lot of cameras in the back of that school, which is great, but all these cameras are
Kids talk.
typically not good enough to catch a plate, but they know what the car looks like. So we had this happen last year too, and I do like to file a police report and hold kids somewhat accountable. Whether something will happen, there are damages, and DPW is looking at what the cost is or the time is for their guys to fix that. So it's ongoing investigation right now.
And what's happening to the mounds?
Somebody was digging up the pitcher rubber, the pitcher.
Yeah.
They were just digging them up.
And they're pretty heavy. Those pitcher
Yeah,
pounds
they're
are
like-
probably
they're like-
close
Yeah, they're big, yeah.
80
So,
pounds.
Yeah.
So they dug that up, and there was one sprinkler head that I got a photo of too that was, it looked like it was kicked out over there.
Wow.
Huh,
Yeah.
that's some serious work to take that
I
up.
know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did they take it or dig
They
it
just
and leave it?
Dug it and left it.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Kids, right?
Yeah,
Kids, gotta get that playground or something.
Yeah.
And play on it respectfully.
yeah.
We got a lunch and learn coming up. So the town did an initiative this year with Albert Plus where, you know, they're trying to bring different departments together. We do a lot of stuff together, but sometimes we don't know what the heck every department does in this town. So myself and Ed went to the police department. It was about a month and a half ago. Learned a lot of what they do. It was actually kind of a lot of fun. We got a tour of that building. I have never been in there. It's a large
Yeah.
building.
Mhm.
So we did that. We are scheduled community services. We were one of 4 departments that were chosen across, I think it's close to 10 departments. About our other colleagues wanting to know what we do, how we do it, and all that stuff. So myself, Ed, Elder Services and Veteran Services will be doing a lunch and learn scheduled for May 18th at the Pleasant Street Center. It is for town employees and you do have to register. I'd say I'd love for you guys to come and I think you know what we do, but it's a chance for folks to see what we do and ask questions about how we do what we do. Next big thing for us and myself, Ed, and our team have all been working on is our new software implementation. We've had the same website for the last 20 years. It's very outdated. I don't think it's user friendly. So we had a few companies come to us offering services and we went with RecTech. Elder Services has already rolled it out and I think they have close to 200. Ed, you might have checked before. They have close to 230 people already set up their accounts. There's a little bit of a learning curve when you set up a new account. But I can tell you it's much more user friendly. And the purpose of doing this is when we get into this new building, we all need to work cohesively. We're going to have people registering for rec programs. We're going to have seniors registering for programs. We're utilizing the same space, so the software allows us to see who's in what rooms. You know, the Elder Services can put in, you know, they have their chair yoga going on here. So if we're looking to run programs, we're seeing where they are, they're seeing where we are, and it just makes it all one complete system. There'll be key tags involved when you come into Recal, you get a little key tag, or you get a little QR code that gets sent to your phone. You come in, you check in every time. So it's really good technology, and a lot of folks in Massachusetts at the other rec departments are all utilizing this too. So I'm sure there's things in there that are a little quirky, but the group we're working with, if we tell them to do something, they've been so proactive, like this makes complete sense, and they'll implement it into the software. Pickleball reservations, tennis reservations, we can rent out the pavilion. It can all be handled online, which will be really nice.
Will there be a way for people to come to you directly if they don't have technology access or aren't
Yep.
able to, for whatever
Right now,
reason?
the plan is to have a computer right out in the lobby. So if someone doesn't know how to set up an account, we can help them right there in the lobby.
And once their account's set up, they could always just go do it. They've, you know, if they call the register, they can just call us again. We'll have their account there. We'll sign.
Yeah, they can come in, we can register them right there too. So it's much easier and it's easier on the eyes and it's a lot easier to find specific programs opposed to what we have right now. So it's exciting, but we are learning a completely new software. So there'll be little, I'm sure, hiccups. So we're gonna try to start promoting that. We're just working on our timeline when we want to do it. We don't want to roll it out probably when we have flag football registrations open up, because those fill up very quick and we have 800 registrations within 10 minutes. So if there's a little hiccup in there or someone forgot to set up an account, it will be not fun working that day.
They can't migrate accounts from your current.
So they can, but you still got to go in and you have to log in and get a verification. So it's going to be more of a slow rollout for our other fall programs. I don't want to do it during.
No, I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
My last thing, Ed and I, since we last met, we attended the MRPA conference, which was out in Springfield, Massachusetts. Never been out there. It was right next to the new casino they have. It was at a nice hotel, and the conference was held in that large conference center that is next to, I forget the name of the arena where the Mass Mutual Arena, where the semi-pro hockey team plays out there. Providence Bruins were in town that day, playing a game too. It was great. It's Ed's, I think, second time going there. And I think we had talked during the whole meeting and it's just like such a learning experience and the connections you make out there with whether it's the vendors or during the sessions. My focuses this year was all on inclusive, adaptive recreation, going to things like that. Like I've gone to different ones about programming and stuff. It's great for ed, but I'm going to these sessions that like I feel like I can learn a lot more. So I learned a lot. I took a lot away from this meeting, and I know Ed's probably going to talk about when he gives an update. We're very fortunate. Some towns won't fund this to go there for professional development, and the amount of knowledge we gain in such a short time. I don't think you could put a price on it, but not a heavy price, so it's well worth it. So I'm very lucky that we get to do that.
That's good.
That's it for me. It's 7, I thought we were gonna end by 7:05. My fault. I'll pass it over to any other questions on anything I just mentioned. Anything online from Nick and Alicia? I don't want to exclude you guys.
No, I'm all set.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. Everything sounds good.
Thanks.
I'll leave it quick. Yeah, right now it's just spring programs are off and running, kind of in the middle of all of that, so it's just a lot of just day-to-day maintenance and stuff that might come up with that, but everything's been smooth so far. We do have as a Vermonter, I'm excited that hopefully we hit a minimum to run a Tuesday hiking program for middle schoolers, like that school program. It's with a company called Guinea Fowl Adventure. I got the contact from our friends over at Winchester, brought them to Reading. And sometimes it's hard to get new programs off the ground, but kind of delayed the start a couple weeks, and we got a few more registrations. So I'm hoping that starts on May 12th or whatever that Tuesday is of that week. So
Where do they go in?
they go to they bounce around a bit, so they have their own van. So it's kind of like similar to like our ski program where they're gonna pick up at Coolidge. They have a van and bring them to some different spots, but the Stoneham Reservation.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so
The Fells
we're on
Woods?
a little field trip
Yeah.
with them at times.
Middlesex Fells Woods.
Is it the Fells?
Is it Fells Woods? Fells Woods, that's Fells Woods, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So I'm still.
Yeah.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a good, it's close by.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good paths in there.
Get up to the peak there, it's good.
Yeah, so, yeah, hopefully I can go on a field trip or two with them as well, so. Like Jim said, we went to the MRPA conference. I focused a lot on maybe professional development stuff, programming. I even went to like a talk about legislative stuff and being an advocate, and he told me 5 years ago I'd be able to talk like that. I probably thought you were crazy. It was interesting a little bit. But yeah, a lot, like Jim said, just a lot of great networking. Before the conference, I joined MRPA New Professionals and Education Committee as a group. We welcomed about 20 kids from Springfield College that were there. They served as kind of room hosts and obviously attended the learning sessions and whatnot. And we also led a fun little trivia game for new professionals for a social hour. It was just a way to encourage networking amongst people who are new to the field, 5 years or less, just to interact with each other, do a fun game, and that's what it was fun to kind of help organize. I agreed to be a part of the committee again for next year. So we're hoping to just plan more socials and more educational stuff along that lines. I went to a new kind of network thing that MRPA is doing. It's a camp and program network. That was today. It's just a group of people who program and we share ideas, share vendors, the good, the bad, new ideas. Today's talk was actually all about therapeutic recreation. So everyone kind of has a theme to it, and we share contacts, share ideas, all of that. Jim kind of mentioned it, but Melissa invited us to do a call through the ARC of Massachusetts. They're kind of the organizer of it, but it's a group of a ton of professionals and a broad range of different roles around the Northeast and Metro Massachusetts. Just a really cool, like dedicated group of people for adaptive, inclusive programming and just creating positive opportunities for all sorts of people. So great place again for connections, ideas, and a really cool just group of people to get to know, and looking forward to doing more with them.
Gonna do a jam session?
Jam session? Yeah, right. So we do that adaptive sports day,
What
but
do they call it? It's almost like a touch a truck, but it's
Yeah.
it's an instrument where they.
Instrument petting zoo.
yeah, it's sports day. I love that. Yeah, so we we talked briefly and we got to follow up with them. But yeah, that would be, I love that. So
Yeah, they do like a jam session too, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I found out Ed likes karaoke too when we're at this.
Oh.
Video that?
No, I don't.
That's the long game. Just kidding. It was fun. I think. But yeah, then again, we're just prepping for summer vacation stuff. Again, it's a new location at Barrows, so just some more planning that goes into just obviously being a new location. So just planning staff orientation, the logistics of the new building, supplies, t-shirts, all that jazz. And then just trying to work on getting some more registrations for our summer programs, email blasts, social media stuff. So get that really pumping, because obviously the initial release of all of our summer programs bring a lot of registrations, but it kind of, slows down. So just trying to remind people of all the things that we are offering. So, and then again, I'll be planning stuff for fall here in like no time. So, as
can
you
imagine.
mentioned, with the new
Fall.
registration
Yeah.
system, I know, right? Always like a season and a half ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the new registration system, be a little bit of a lift just to get all of our new programs in there and work with them. But looking forward to it. I'm excited about that too. So, a few things going on.
Just a few.
Yeah.
And we did have to make a quick adjustment with the school calendar this year with all the
Oh,
stuff we
yes.
had. It pushed the day when they're getting out of school, so they're getting out on Monday, June 22nd. That's when we were planning on starting our camp program. So we have to move in now on Tuesday, June 23rd. We got to move in and do all our stuff, so our first day won't be until Wednesday. So we're in the process now. Ed notified all the families that signed up for week one, and we're making sure that they're getting credited the amount that they're missing on this too. So if you hear folks saying, I signed up for this, and he's already sent emails out saying that they will be getting their money for those days that are lost. So it was a little hiccup, but we knew it might happen. We were hoping it wouldn't. Hasn't happened in a long time, but we had a lot of snow towards the end.
Yep.
Any questions for Ed and Jim? I tell you guys, every time you guys talk,
No,
it
it's
it
overwhelming.
blows me away. It really does. I mean, you guys raise the bar every time, of all the programming, and I like doing things out of the box, like you're saying, the hiking you're doing, and the sports day you're planning. It's just fantastic. I just see, when this new center opens up, it's just gonna grow and grow and bigger and bigger. So, thank you for everything you guys do. It's amazing. And, yeah, really,
Great work.
you do. It's such a small staff.
Yeah,
All the, you
there's
do.
two of us.
Right. It's amazing.
A lot of towns have a lot of staff, but I think we do a great job for what we do. And
Sure.
Ed's new and he's young. My eyes are literally getting older and older. I need glasses, so he looks at things much clearer than I do sometimes. And it's a good combination. So, but yeah, and then I just want to say too, like with folks here too, whenever you're having something you want on an agenda, he's the guy to reach out to, let him know that you want something on agenda too. So he's not coming up with stuff or asking me if I have anything on the agenda. So
Yeah.
your input's important.
Great.
And then I have to say that I have homework for everyone. See these wonderful meeting minutes that I sent you guys? For some reason, I forgot to put it on the agenda to approve the meeting minutes, so I don't want to get in trouble. We're gonna table that, so you can take that home and you can read it, or if you don't need to take it home, I did email it to everybody. Just give it a quick review. There is one more, the joint meeting that we had, I believe it was in March at the COA. Jen is just waiting for that to get finalized, so we'll have 3 of them to approve our next meeting. So maybe a little homework, so when we come in, you have all the little edits I need to make. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing we should say is that hopefully our next meeting, we want to get back in terms of note taking to help Jim out. So if we can someone can volunteer for our next, do it now. For our next meeting, we'll just, go around in terms of take turns taking notes. That'll help getting the gym out a lot.
Yeah.
So if we can do that for our next meeting to think about who wants to be the first volunteer. Our next meeting, we can do, that would be great.
And with it being recorded, I do get a recap. It's kind of broken down of what was said. Is it 100% accurate? Not even close. So you do have to go through there, but it gives you a good starting point
Yep.
to go through it.
Don't rely on that though, because one time I did and it didn't tape. And I
Yeah.
thank God I did it like the next morning and I was able to piece together with my minimal notes, but
It's taping today, so we'll check before. So
that's probably the one time it didn't tape. And I'm like, oh, I'll do it.
And then one thing I did just miss was the next joint meeting with COA, or Elder Service, it's COA and the Recreation Committee is Tuesday, May 19th, either 6 or 6:30. I will confirm and get that out to you as soon as possible. I think the majority of that meeting is going to be talking about the new software that we have coming in. I don't know if transportation will be discussed at that point, but Tuesday, May 19th will be our next joint meeting.
Did you say 6 or 6:30?
I know you like
My train pulls into Reading at 5 o'clock. So if you have something at 6, like the chances of me being on time are like not good.
6:30.
Yeah.
The COA, Nancy, you might recall better than I, is it usually 6 or is it?
They changed it to 6.
Yeah.
But, I think it's flexible.
Yeah. Okay, I'll push for 6:30. I think I did with the last meeting.
Yeah, I could do 6:30.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think there's a couple of the COA people that could use 6:30
Yeah.
too, so.
6 is hard.
Hmm.
And if my train's late, then.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, that's it.
One more.
One
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Any discussion? Do a vote.
Kate, yes.
Eric, yes.
Laura, yes.
Melissa, yeah.
Bob, yes.
Rich, yes. Meeting is adjourned. Oh, sorry.
That's all.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.